All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Lalema Aneja Dang and with me is Tanvi Khurana. The headlines. Cyclonic storm Tauktae to hit Gujarat coast between Porbandar and Nalia on Tuesday. Western Railway cancels 56 trains originating or terminating in Saurashtra region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews preparedness of states, central ministries and other agencies to deal with the cyclone. Prime Minister also reviews corona situation in the country, calls for localized containment strategies and scaling up vaccination process. Government plans to ramp up production of Covaxin to 10 crore doses per month. More than 18 crore 21 lakh doses of corona vaccine administered in the country so far. Government launches special drive for processing and disposal of all pending GST refund claims on priority basis. More than 250 Myanmarese troops killed in fighting with Karen ethnic rebels. And in tennis, Novak Djokovic to clash with Rafael Nadal in men's singles final of Italian Open today. As the number of COVID cases are on the rise, we appeal to our listeners not to lower the guard and follow all the precautions, and all those above 44 years who have taken the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine to get vaccinated with second dose at the scheduled time. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. India Meteorological Department IMD has said that cyclonic storm Tauktae has intensified and is expected to reach the Gujarat coast by Tuesday and bring heavy rain to some areas. It is likely to cross Gujarat coast between Porbandar and Nalia. The cyclone is likely to cause heavy rainfall in the coastal districts of Gujarat, including Junagadh, Gir Somnath, Saurashtra, Kutch, Porbandar, Devbhoomi Dwarka, Amreli, Rajkot, Jamnagar and Diu. Western Railway has said that it has cancelled 56 trains either originating or terminating in Gujarat's Saurashtra region as a precaution. Heavy rain was reported in Maharashtra's coastal Ratnagiri district yesterday. Mumbai can expect showers from today afternoon. IMD has issued an orange alert, which means heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely over the entire Konkan and hilly areas of western Maharashtra, mainly Kolhapur and Satara today and tomorrow.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviewed preparedness of states and central ministries and agencies concerned to deal with the situation arising out of the cyclone Tauktae. Chairing a high-level meeting yesterday, Mr. Modi directed senior officers to take every possible measure to ensure that people are safely evacuated by the state governments. He instructed to ensure maintenance of all the essential services such as power, telecommunications, health and drinking water among others, and also asked for their immediate restoration in the event of damages. Mr. Modi further directed the officials to ensure special preparedness on COVID management in hospitals, vaccine cold chain and other medical facilities on power backup and storage of essential medicines, and to plan for unhindered movement of oxygen tankers. He also directed for non-stop functioning of control rooms. The Prime Minister said that special care needs to be taken to ensure that there is least possible disruption in oxygen supply from Jamnagar, as the area is expected to receive heavy to very heavy rainfall in the next few days due to the cyclone. Mr. Modi also spoke about the need to involve the local community for timely sensitization and relief measures.
Cabinet Secretary is in continuous touch with Chief Secretaries of all the coastal states and central ministries and agencies to assess the preparedness with regard to Cyclone Tauktae. Union Home Ministry is constantly monitoring the situation and is in touch with the state governments and union territories and the central agencies concerned. It has already released the first installment of SDRF in advance to all the coastal states. NDRF has pre-positioned 42 teams equipped with boats, tree cutters, telecom equipments in 6 states and has kept 26 teams on standby. Indian Coast Guard and the Navy have deployed ships and helicopters for relief, search and rescue operations. Air Force and Engineer Task Force units of Army with boats and rescue equipment are on standby for deployment. 7 ships with humanitarian assistance and disaster relief units are on standby along the western coast. Surveillance aircraft and helicopters are carrying out serial surveillance along the western coast. Disaster relief teams and medical teams are standby at Trivandrum, Kannur and other locations along the western coast. The Central Power Ministry has activated emergency response systems and is keeping in readiness transformers, DG sets and equipments for immediate restoration of electricity. Telecom Ministry is keeping all the telecom towers and exchanges under constant watch and is fully geared to restore telecom network. Union Health Ministry has issued advisory to the states and union territories likely to be affected for health sector preparedness and response on COVID in affected areas. They have also kept ready 10 quick response medical teams and 5 public health response teams with emergency medicines. Shipping and Ports Ministry has taken measures to secure all shipping vessels and has deployed emergency vessels. NDRF is assisting the state agencies in their preparedness for evacuating people from vulnerable locations and is also continuously holding community awareness campaign on how to deal with the cyclonic situation.
Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani has said that the state government is fully prepared to face the possibility of severe cyclonic storm Taukte. After reviewing the state preparedness at a meeting last evening, Mr. Rupani said that the government is monitoring the movement of cyclonic storm and taking all the necessary steps. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
According to official sources, 24 teams of NDRF are being deployed in Gujarat following the threat of very severe cyclonic storm. District administrations have been asked to take action with zero casualty approach. Authorities have been asked to maintain electricity supply in all COVID hospitals with additional support of diesel generator sets. Ambulances and ICU ambulances with advanced life support system will be kept standby in Jamnagar, Junagadh, Rajkot and Kutch districts of Saurashtra and Kutch. District administrations in the coastal areas have been asked to ensure the safety of fishermen and salt workers. A very severe cyclonic storm, Taukte, is likely to cross Gujarat coast between Porbandar and Nalia on Tuesday. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Dakshin Kannad, Udupi, Uttar Kannad districts in Karnataka are on high alert as cyclone Taukte hits the Indian coastline. The fishermen have been warned not to venture into the sea till 18th of May. The people living in low-lying areas were shifted to safer locations. Karnataka Home Minister Basavaraj Bommai and Revenue Minister R. Ashok held a state disaster management meeting yesterday and reviewed the preparations for the relief works. More on this from our Bangalore correspondent.
The coastline and adjoining districts bore the brunt of torrential rain and high-speed wind as cyclone hit the coastline. A red alert has been called in the coastline. All the holidays of government officials in home and revenue departments have been cancelled. 2 NDRF teams are stationed in Dakshina Kannada and Kodagu district. They are equipped with inflatable boats, life jackets, life buoys, cutting equipments, rescue items, deep divers, sets, generators and satellite phones. 8 relief camps are set up in 3 coastal districts. Multi-purpose cyclone shelters are constructed. Medicines, masks, sanitizers and soaps are also stored here. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Heavy rain and strong winds wreak havoc in Kerala and Lakshadweep as cyclone Taukte passes the coast. Widespread damage and sea erosions have been reported in the coastal districts of the state. Thousands of people are shifted to relief camps. Met Department predicts heavy to very heavy rainfall and strong winds in the state till today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stressed the need for ramping up the speed of vaccination, testing and augmentation of the healthcare resources to deal effectively with the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. He also emphasized on the implementation of the localized containment strategies and the proper distribution of oxygen supply in the rural areas. The Prime Minister chaired a high-level meeting to discuss the COVID and vaccination-related situation in the country. During the meeting, officials gave detailed presentations on the state and district-level situation, testing capacities, availability of oxygen, healthcare infrastructure and vaccination roadmap. The Prime Minister asked for augmentation of healthcare resources in rural areas by adopting door-to-door testing and surveillance strategies. He also spoke about empowering ASHA and Anganwadi workers with all the necessary tools. Mr. Modi also stressed on providing the guidelines in easy language for home isolation and treatment in rural areas. The Prime Minister directed that a distribution plan for ensuring oxygen supply in rural areas should be worked out. He added that necessary training must be provided to health workers in the operation of medical equipment. He asked to ensure power supply for smooth operation of such medical devices. The Prime Minister took serious note of some of the reports about ventilators lying unutilized in storage in some states. He directed that an immediate audit of installation and operation of ventilators provided by the central government should be carried out.
Centre has said that it plans to ramp up the production of Bharat Biotech's Covaxin from 1.5 crore doses to about 10 crore doses every month. Niti Aayog member Dr. V.K. Paul said total production of Covaxin doses will be further scaled up to 13 crore doses a month, while 3 public sector undertakings start manufacturing the vaccine. Briefing media persons, he said that the government will look at more private players to scale up the production of Covaxin. Haskine Biopharmaceuticals in Mumbai, Indian Immunologicals in Hyderabad and Bulandshahr-based Bharat Immunologicals and Biologicals are the 3 public sector units that will manufacture the Covaxin vaccine. Dr. Paul said Bharat Biotech's vaccine technology is being shared with the 3 PSUs with a provision of 150 crore rupees funding to scale up the production.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. Here's a reminder of the headlines before we move on. Cyclonic storm Taukte to hit Gujarat coast between Porbandar and Nalia on Tuesday. Western Railway cancels 56 trains originating or terminating in Saurashtra region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews preparedness of states, central ministries and other agencies to deal with the cyclone. Prime Minister also reviews corona situation in the country, calls for localized containment strategies and scaling up vaccination process. Government plans to ramp up production of Covaxin to 10 crore doses per month. More than 18 crore 21 lakh doses of corona vaccine administered in the country so far. Government launches special drive for processing and disposal of all pending GST refund claims on priority basis. More than 250 Myanmarese troops killed in fighting with Karen ethnic rebels. And in tennis, Novak Djokovic to clash with Rafael Nadal in men's singles final of the Italian Open today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
India has administered more than 18 crore 21 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. These include over 96 lakh 42,000 healthcare workers who have taken the first dose and more than 66 lakh healthcare workers who have taken the second dose. Over 1 crore 44 lakh frontline workers have taken the first dose and more than 81 lakh frontline workers have taken the second dose. Union Health Ministry said more than 17 lakh 14,000 beneficiaries were inoculated with COVID-19 vaccine doses yesterday, out of which more than 11 lakh 19,000 beneficiaries were vaccinated for the first dose and more than 5 lakh 94,000 beneficiaries received the second dose of the vaccine. More than 5 lakh 58,000 beneficiaries of the age group 18 to 44 years received their first dose of the vaccine yesterday and cumulatively over 48 lakh 21,000 across 32 states and union territories.
The Union Health Ministry has said that the country is witnessing a continuous decline in the number of active cases of COVID-19 and increase in recovery rate over the last 12 days. Addressing media in New Delhi, Joint Secretary in the Health Ministry, Love Agarwal, said that the active cases have now come down to 15.1% from 17.1% since the 3rd of this month. The recovery rate also improved further from 81.7% to 83.8%, he said.
पिछले ऑलमोस्ट 4 से 5 दिनों में हम देखते हैं कि हमारे रिकवर्ड केसेस एक्टिव केसेस से बढ़कर आ रहे हैं और हमारी एवरेज वीकली रिकवरी में भी 11% इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ है। 75% हमारे केसेस अभी भी 10 स्टेट से आ रहे हैं और 80% एक्टिव केसेस 12 स्टेट्स में हैं। 1 लाख से अधिक एक्टिव केसेस अभी 11 स्टेट्स में हैं। 50,000 से 1 लाख एक्टिव केसेस 8 स्टेट्स में पाए जा रहे हैं और 17 स्टेट्स ऐसी हैं जहां 50,000 से कम एक्टिव केसेस हैं।
In Maharashtra's Jalna, a private company has set up a massive oxygen plant in barely 18 days. In this plant, oxygen is produced by absorbing it from the air. People who are in need of oxygen are given free of cost. More in this report from our Mumbai correspondent.
In Jalna district, around 500 cases of COVID are registered on daily basis. Some patients also need oxygen supply. Taking note of this alarming situation, the Pollard Industries has set up oxygen production plant in barely 18 days. The plant produces oxygen by absorbing it from the air. On an average, 300 cylinders are filled, and out of these 250 cylinders are given free of cost to the hospitals where there is a need of oxygen. The cylinders to the hospital are given only after taking permission from the Jalna district collector. With Kunal Shinde, this is Jeevan Bhavsar, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Madhya Pradesh government has extended ban on the movement of passenger buses to and from Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan till May the 23rd to contain the spread of coronavirus infection. Here's more from our Bhopal correspondent.
The state government had on May 7th issued an order banning interstate movement of passenger buses, which was effective till Saturday. As per the new order issued by the State Transport Department, the ban on bus movement to and from the states of Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Uttar Pradesh has been extended till May 23rd. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan discussed the control of COVID infection and black fungus situation with the leader of opposition, Mr. Kamal Nath. Active cases reduced to below 1 lakh again in Madhya Pradesh on Saturday, showing sign of improvement in corona cases. The state reported 99,970 active cases. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
The Odisha government has constituted a high-power advisory committee on COVID-19. The committee, comprising of eminent doctors and scientists, will aid and advise the state government on vaccination, infrastructure expansion and combat readiness for future COVID waves. Here's more from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
The State Chief Secretary said that the state government has floated a global tender to procure 3.8 crore doses of vaccines for universal vaccination against COVID-19. Meanwhile, even as the state enters the 12th day of the 14 days lockdown today, COVID-19 cases continue to hang around the higher side of 10,000 every day for the past few days. During the last 24 hours, barring only 2 districts that have reported fresh cases in 2 digits only, the rest 28 districts have reported new cases either in 3 or 4 digits each. While the state's COVID-19 cumulative caseload has crossed the 6 lakh mark, there still are more than 1 lakh active cases that the state has been handling as of now. Girish Chandradas, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Tamil Nadu Health Minister Mr. Subramaniam has said that the government is planning to recruit 2,000 doctors and 6,000 nurses in the near future to tide over the COVID crisis. Chennai Corporation has deployed final year MBBS students for treating people at home isolation and also to monitor the COVID care centers for a period of 3 months for a consolidated pay of 40,000 rupees per month. More on this from our Chennai correspondent.
The state has registered more than 33,000 fresh COVID cases yesterday. More than 2 lakh patients are in the hospitals for treatment. Chennai, which was counting more than 7,000 cases per day, has recorded less with a count of 6,600 cases yesterday. Coimbatore has registered over 3,000 cases. Chengalpat saw 2,000 cases yesterday. Over 20,000 people have been discharged from the hospitals after treatment. The Directorate of Public Health has prohibited visitors or attenders of COVID-19 patients admitted to the isolation ward of dedicated hospitals, institutions, health centers to avoid the spread. Donations have been pouring in for the Chief Minister's Public Relief Fund. State Governor Banwarilal Purohit donated 1 crore to the Chief Minister's Public Relief Fund. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
In Chhattisgarh, lockdown has been extended in many districts, including capital Raipur, till the 31st of May to break the chain of COVID infection. However, in the 5th phase of the lockdown, many commercial activities have been allowed to be conducted.
In Bihar, revised guidelines for lockdown, which has been extended till 25th of this month, comes into force today. As per new guidelines, Ration shops, dairy, vegetables and meat shops will remain open between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. in urban areas and 8 a.m. to 12 noon in rural areas. Shops related to building material, seeds and fertilizers will be opened twice a week on Monday and Thursday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only 20 persons will be allowed in marriage ceremony and funeral procession. Meanwhile, fresh COVID-19 cases continue to decline in Bihar. 7,336 fresh cases were reported in the state during the last 24 hours and 14,340 people were recovered yesterday. Uttar Pradesh government has extended the corona curfew in the state for one more week till 24th of this month. The present curfew was supposed to end tomorrow morning, but now it will continue till 7 a.m. on 24th of this month. More on this from our Lucknow correspondent.
To bring some relief to the local retailers, shopkeepers and street vendors, the state government also announced rupees 1,000 as an allowance along with ration for the next 3 months. The decision will impact almost 1 crore poor people of the state. In a high-level meeting chaired by Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, yesterday it was also decided that online classes will start again in state from 20th May in every level of education institutions except Basic Education Department. Meanwhile, according to the official data, state registered 281 fresh COVID-19 fatalities, raising the death toll to 17,283, while the infection count climbed to 16,09,140. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
The Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, CBIC, has launched a special GST refund disposal drive from the 15th of May to the 31st of May for processing and disposal of all pending GST refund claims on priority. In a statement, CBIC said that it is expected that all central tax formations will take up all the pending GST refund claims for processing and endeavour to dispose them much earlier than the statutory time limits, preferably before a period of 30 days from the date of receipt of the refund application. It is expected that during this special drive, all GST refund claims pending as on 14th May shall be disposed of by the 31st of this month. Principal Chief Commissioners and Chief Commissioners of CGST zones will monitor the performance on this front closely on a daily basis and wherever required, suitably guide the officers concerned to maximize the disposal.
Sikkim celebrates its statehood day today. It marks the day in 1975 when Sikkim transitioned to become the 22nd state of India from being a monarchy earlier. Greeting people on the occasion, Sikkim Governor Ganga Prasad has said that the state has always worked for the country's development, be it through its organic mission or as a tourist hotspot. Mr. Prasad said that with the central government's support, Sikkim is committed to building a self-reliant society, women empowerment and public welfare. More from our Gangtok correspondent.
Wishing people on this statehood day, Sikkim Chief Minister P.S. Tamang said that the state has earned global recognition as a model of development and progress. Remembering former Chief Ministers, Mr. Tamang said that they contributed to making Sikkim a state defined by peace, unity and diversity and growth. He stressed on the state government's commitment to development and highlighted initiatives in areas of health, agriculture, education, tourism, animal husbandry, social security, infrastructure development and e-governance among other sectors. He sought everyone's participation and collective responsibility in these initiatives for holistic development. With Saikat Sarkar, Faizat Sharma from Gangtok for AIR.
Karen guerrillas have inflicted heavy casualties on Myanmar troops. More than 250 Myanmarese troops have been killed in a week with the Karen ethnic rebels. The fighting has intensified this month after the Myanmar army launched an offensive against the bases of the Karen National Union, KNU. A KNU commander told a news agency that about 220 soldiers from Myanmar military were also wounded in the clashes. The KNU claimed that those killed in the fierce fighting include a colonel and a lieutenant colonel of Myanmar's armed forces. Karen Rebels said that these attacks are to show support for the newly formed National Unity Government set up by the elected lawmakers from the ousted National League for Democracy NLD government.
In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic will clash with world number 3 Rafael Nadal in the men's singles final of Italian Open today. 9-time champion Spain's Nadal beat American Ray Opelka 6-4, 6-4 in the semi-finals to secure his place in the final, while defending champion Djokovic of Serbia defeated Italian Lorenzo Sonego 6-3, 6-7, 6-2 in the second semi-finals. In the women's section, number 15 seed Iga Swiatek of Poland ousted number 35 Coco Gauff of the US 7-6, 6-3 to book a spot in the final. Iga will take on Czech Republic's Karolina Pliskova in the final. The world's 9th-ranked player and 2019 champion moved into her third straight Rome final after overcoming world number 25 Petra Martic of Croatia 6-1, 3-6, 6-2 in the other semi-final match. And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital, Delhi, will have a partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was recorded at 24 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 41 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees, while the maximum is expected to be around 31 degrees Celsius. Chennai will also have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperatures will hover between 30 and 38 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 37. Jammu will have a partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius while the maximum should be around 34 degrees Celsius. Srinagar may experience cloudy sky. Temperatures will hover between 11 and 25 degrees Celsius. Leh is expected to have a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 3 and 14 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have a generally cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 12 and 30 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 17 degrees Celsius and the maximum should be around 30.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. GST Council to meet on May 28th. Pharma in focus is the Hindustan Times headline. This is the first time in 7 months that the Council shall be meeting to discuss key issues such as compensation to states and tax waivers on various medicines, etc. 3 more firms get the nod to produce Covaxin, headlines the Hindu Business Line. Modi ordered as many ventilators lying unutilized, says the Sunday Pioneer on front page. PM stresses on curbing spread in rural areas. The Asian Aid reports Ulfa-1 declaring unilateral COVID-19 ceasefire for 90 days. This happened after Assam Chief Minister Himant Biswa Sharma's recent appeal to Paresh Barua. Wax gap increase based on science, not supply, says the government, is a headline of Economic Times. Another story in the paper says that now more and more people are willing to make a will considering the rising mortality rates. And finally, the Asian Aid reports an interesting story of a 68-year-old Rajendra Patidar of Rao Rangwasa village in Madhya Pradesh. He has made a people tree his second home to ensure that his blood oxygen level is maintained. He spends at least 4 hours under it every day and his SpO2 is at 99.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Cyclonic storm Tauktae to hit Gujarat coast between Porbandar and Nalia on Tuesday. Western Railway cancels 56 trains originating or terminating in Saurashtra region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews preparedness of states, central ministries and other agencies to deal with the cyclone. Prime Minister also reviews corona situation in the country, calls for localized containment strategies and scaling up vaccination process. Government plans to ramp up production of Covaxin to 10 crore doses per month. More than 18 crore 21 lakh doses of corona vaccine administered in the country so far. Government launches special drive for processing and disposal of all pending GST refund claims on priority basis. And that is the end of this news bulletin.